Page 20, The Lonely Pine. Here they're introducing a hand movement or a hand shift. I don't care what you call it. You're moving the hands, because in piano playing we move the hands around. Oh boy. Now at the beginning of this, let's look this over. This is in 3/4 time. So we're counting to 3. There's 3 beats in a measure, and a quarter note is giving a count. So we're counting quarter notes. In the right hand, you're starting with third finger on the E, way up here. That puts your hand in this position. And you're playing these notes, and you need to know the names of those notes. Remember the names of the spaces, F-A-C-E, if that'll help you. You need to know the names of the notes. In the second line, they have a little note there, shift 1 to F. Oh, that's okay. What they mean is they put your thumb, first finger, on the F. Move. Here. Simply moving. That shift 1 to F thing, that's not part of the music. That's just what the author stuck in to help you. You're supposed to be able to look at the notes and realize you have to move and figure out where. And you'll figure out which finger you need. In time, you'll get an idea of how to finger things. So here, we're simply here to start, and we're going to come down to here. Now, when do you do it? That's a good question. You do it before you need to be there, if possible. So you have a measure in front of it with nothing in it. You can move any time in that measure. I typically move right before I need it, so it would be like around the last beat. Somewhere in that measure I'm going to move there, because I got to have it there ready to go in time, because you don't want to hesitate. The rhythm goes on, and that's that. In the left hand, all it's doing is here. You're just here. F and C. Until the first measure, the second line, you get that. That's it. Left hand's really cool. All right. They have dynamics here. I don't like the way Faber does their dynamics. Let's talk about them, because they're a little misleading. They have an F and they have a P. The F is for forte or loud. The P means piano or soft, right? Remember all that. You got to know all that. Well, they're telling you to play the right hand, the stuff in the top staff loud, and the stuff in the bottom staff soft. So you're going to play here soft. You'll have to decide what soft and loud is. You be the judge on that. And then the right hand loud. It's a little misleading and it's a little confusing, because now in the third measure they put a P for the right hand. Well, if you're still playing this soft, now you're playing them both the same. So when in the third measure, the left hand has to go down to really soft, because it's got to be softer than the right hand. The melody's in the right hand. It's called bringing out the melody. We play the melody louder than everything else. We want to hear the melody. And it takes some practice to gain that control. So in the third measure, you play the left hand really soft, and so you can play the right hand soft and hear it. Then in the second line, now it's all medium loud, all of it, until the third measure. Then they have that P there again, and this is where the misleading part comes in. What they want is they want the left hand soft, and the right hand is staying medium loud. But the way music is typically written in dynamics is you get one dynamic in the middle between the staves, and you have to know how to apply it to all the stuff, because it's not the same for all the stuff. The dynamic applies to the melody. Everything else has to be softer than that, and you have to decide how softer it is. So at the beginning, all we need is an F in the middle of the staves. That's it. We don't need the P. And that tells you the melody is loud, so play the other part softer. Then in the third measure over, all we need is a P, which they gave you, and that tells you bring the left hand down even softer than that. And then in the second line, you're medium loud all the way through. It's all melody. And then the third measure, that P should belong to the melody, but it doesn't. They don't want the melody soft. So that P should not be there. I'd cross it out, because you want the melody to stay medium loud. And you have to know the left hand has to be soft. It's just just the way it works. I mean, right now they're being a little too helpful for you, and I'm going to talk about it quite a bit because it's really important. You can do this when you're practicing the scales, and if you haven't yet, it's time that you went to my video on the C major scale and did the beginner portion of it. Don't get into the intermediate and advanced stuff. Just learn the scale. And as you practice it, you can practice one hand louder than the other. Do the right hand loud, and then do it again, and do the left hand loud. And, you know, take turns. But it will take a while. It took me a long time to get the control to be able to play different dynamic levels like that. It's not easy for some of us to do. Some people pick it up right away. You know, it's really disgusting when they, but the rest of us have to work at it. So hang in there and keep at it. It will come. Now they have a little bit of slurs and phrasing, and we're going to connect it all anyway. I don't care if the slurs are there. You don't really need them. You can do it if you want. The pedal's going to cover it all up anyway, but you still do it with the hands. The only slurring thing I need to watch out for or warn you about would be ending the first line going into the second. The right hand is slurred in here. It's not a phrase, it's a slur. And then lift up before you play the F. Little silence between the C and the F. As I said, the pedal's going to cover it up, but you still do it with the hands. 1, 2, 3. Like so. That's about all I can say with slurs on this. Speaking of the pedal, let's talk about that briefly. At the beginning, you're going to push the pedal down right after you play the notes in the left hand. You're going to keep the pedal down for the whole piece, and this will be fun. And at the end, the last measure, the pedal and the hands come up at the same time. All together. At the end of the 3 counts. And that's the pedal. Big deal. So let's try this out slowly to double check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do the dynamics. I'll leave that up to you. I'll give us 3 counts. So go ahead and put your hands where they go. Here and here. And the foot's on the pedal. 1, ready, go. 2, 3. 3. 2, 3, off. There's the duet part at the bottom. I'd like to play that and have you play your part just exactly like you did, except faster. I'm going to speed this up. So put your hands where they go and your feet. We'll give it a try. Now my part's different, so you pay attention to what you're doing, but follow me. 1, ready, go.